My dearest family. So today we are going to be looking at the aspect of the week, and I've chosen Vesta moving into the sign of Leo. So this is what we're going to be exploring today. If you like the video, please press like, subscribe to the channel. I noticed that about 60% of my viewers are not members of my family, so I would like you to have on board. And if you would like to receive weekly breakdowns for each sign, then you might want to consider joining my YouTube membership program, and you will receive approximately 10 additional videos a month. You can even get free webinars too, depending on the level you choose. So I hopeful to see you among my YouTube family. And also, this is your last chance to sign up for my sixth house webinar series. There are going to be 6 lectures, and I will be teaching about the signs on the sixth house cusp, planets in the sixth house, the ruler of the sixth house, so that you can master the self more. Because the sixth house is misunderstood. Often it's just referred as the house of coworkers or work or medical field and so on. But it's a lot more than that. Your mental well-being is such a big topic, for example, in the sixth house. The integration of the self, the shadow part of your subconscious is also visible in the sixth house. And it might be able to provide you solutions of how to work with your subconscious. So please join my webinar series on the sixth house. I'm sure you will benefit from it. But let's get started with Vesta in the sign of Leo. First of all, let's have a look at what Vesta represents. So I'm going to give you very quickly keywords here. This is about your sacred duty. Wherever Vesta is in your chart, you have to pay attention to that house and sign. The reason why, because Vesta is a focus point. Now, sometimes we naturally focus onto that area of life and we are very convicted, we are very dedicated in that area. Sometimes we just walk away from these responsibilities. If you think about the mythology behind Vesta, well, she was the eldest of the siblings of Saturn, a woman who didn't belong to anyone. She was the keeper of, they were 6 of them actually. They were handpicked and they were in service of 30 years from the age of 10 to the sacred fires. They were trained to care for altars and to attend their fires. So basically, on one hand, this could talk to you about delays of personal wishes. The reason why, because they were not allowed to look at man, and the man who looked at them became stones. So they were untouched. Therefore, it also represents something to do with sacred sexuality as well. But if you just think about the fact that they were the keepers of a fire, fire was about sterilizing wounds or instruments. So an element of purification, really, what it shows. So on one hand, it shows that you're going to have to purify yourself as well, and to be able to accept full responsibilities in that house and sign position wherever it is in your chart. For example, from object point of view, this could talk to you about ceramics or rituals or certain type of sacrifices we make. At the same time, this could talk to you about barrenness, if, for example, it's in the fifth house, or it could talk to you about certain type of period of servitude or virginity as well. By the way, it also rules female-dominated industries such as magazines or airlines. Gender political issues also belong here as well. Vesta shows where you have a non-like devotion to a cause, a project, a person, or a belief. There is something kind of like sacred to you. She is also related to work, devotion, spiritual practices. Vesta can indicate celibacy, for example, or sterility or deviations in sexuality as well in your chart. Sometimes this is kind of like a singleness type of energy when it comes to relationship matters. So Vesta is the representation of your spiritual path. You might be a little bit more on the private side in the part of your chart, wherever it is. It's kind of like a little bit of an inner flame that is burning, and then you must attend. So, some of the keywords to summarize on this: focus, commitment, dedication, aspiration towards a goal or a path, sacrifices that need to be made to be able to achieve a goal. Sexual themes, for example, fear of intimacy and commitment, avoidance of marriage and children. It could talk to you about purification and inner strength, self-discipline. She was the goddess of hearth and homes. So the hearth, obviously where the fire is preserved, it was also a gathering point of elders and villagers, and they were, talking about or sharing stories with each other. So there's even a little bit of a community building around it as well. This vest is kind of like the campfire. It can symbolize virgins, astrologers, for example, assigned her to Virgo. Some tend to believe that she is the ruler of Scorpio. I don't think we need to be giving rulership to her, but surely this is one of the major asteroids. So definitely I would not be disregarding that in your chart. From a sexuality point of view, this could also talk to you about sexual harassment, being cheated on, promiscuity as well. Someone who might be against traditional values. In psychology, we call it as the Madonna horse syndrome, which is the inability to maintain sexual arousal in committed relationship. Typically, it is seen in men who see women as a saint or a prostitute. These men want a degraded woman. Often they want to have them. Often they think they cannot have the woman they desire. So, and of course, as I said, Vesta was the goddess of hearth and home. Obviously, the center of the home was the fireplace, right? So this is where people gather to warm up and so forth. So often it's kind of like where you need to be feeling a little bit more at home in that particular area. What happens when you focus on fire, though? Just think about that as well. It is not okay to stare at the fire because the high temperature will evaporate your water in your eyes. And if you stare at it for a long time, the eyes may feel dry and uncomfortable. And not to mention that ashes can get into your eyes as well from the fire. And what did Vesta do? They were watching, they were focusing on the fire all day. This was their job. So, in a way, they got burnt out. They were too devoted to it. And therefore, they didn't make any type of other commitments as well. By the way, one more thing I would like to mention about Vesta, that it also represents investments in your chart. So statistically speaking, people who are really interested in certain type of investments, they have got very prominent Vesta in their chart. Also, Vesta often appears in the chart of political leaders as well, by the way. Some technical facts about Vesta. Its orbital period is 3.6 years, so it tends to be spending approximately about three and a half months in each sign. So you're going to have one Vesta return, for example, at the age of 29. That coincides with a Saturn return too. You've got a return at the age of 18 when you've got the nodal returns happening. And then you have got one return at the age of 58, 59. That's when your second Saturn return is happening. So every 7.2 years, Saturn is in square to its natal position, and Vesta is actually making a return around that time. So you can also look at Vesta sometimes as very similar energy to Saturn. Okay, so that's the meaning of Vesta. Now, as I said, it's going to be moving into the sign of Leo on the 19th of June. And it's going to be there for, as I said, a good 3.5 months. Of course, if you wish, I can actually give you the exact date. By the way, sometimes this is a little bit faster, sometimes it's a little bit slower. It really depends on the retrograde uh, motion. This time around, Vesta is not going to go retrograde in the sign of Leo. So it's going to be entering Virgo on the 24th of August, just in case you are curious about that. So Vesta in the sign of Leo. So I gave you the keywords: devotion, commitment, service and work, sometimes independence, a sacred space, and sexuality and purity as well. So when Vesta is moving into the sign of Leo, then what's going to happen is that we're going to be focusing a lot more on the Leo part of our chart. And it might become sacred to us. And what is the Leo archetype? Leo is about creativity, self expression, your personal identity, as well as something to do with the ability to be able to shine, the ability to be noticed, recognized, and celebrated by others. So it looks like that your commitment or devotion are strongly focusing this time around creative self-expression, that you want to be acknowledged for something. You want to be expressing your own unique identity. It's very much about the purpose of the next couple of months is to showcase yourself, your talent, to express your uniqueness, your creativity. Even this could represent that you are going to be focusing a lot more on being able to take on a leadership role as well. So this could be very exciting, I would say. This would be very much about tapping into your own, yes, stepping into your own creative power. This is about becoming, in a way, an authoritative figure. It could be about becoming passionate about your project, for example, something that you would like to give birth to. This is about being driven to be shining the best possible way. This is about um, becoming somehow powerful. This would talk to you about the need to be able to tap into your own sexual desires as well, creating a strong sense of individuality. And in order for you to be strong rooted in your own individuality, you're going to have to look at your deep seated fears as well. If you don't have the ability to stand out from the crowd, to be noticed, because you are afraid of the crowd that you're gonna get rejected and so forth. We need to be careful because sometimes Leo is a little bit dramatic and it's a little bit of an attention seeker. So you might have got that powerful drive to be noticed, and then therefore you cause a little bit of a drama as well. So recognition seeking, approval, are some of the most important keywords with this. So, taking on a leadership role and building confidence with for yourself could be quite significant. Maybe you're gonna have to take charge in certain type of situations, or you're gonna get offered a promotion, for example. If it's in your second, sixth, or the 10th house, you can run into certain type of challenges at work as well with this, of course. This is about being confident, sometimes bravery as well. And as I said, you need to be somehow inspired and motivated Or you're going to have to be able to inspire or motivate others as well. Or simply, you want to be surrounded by people who are motivated to achieve something. Maybe they are able to get you realize your own potentials. This is about being passionate and enthusiastic about something. At the same time, of course, in relationship department, it really brings in the topic of loyalty. So, how loyal my partner is, how generous my partner is, how big of a heart that person is who I am together with, and how far are we willing to go to be able to protect the flame within the relationship. So that's one very important topic here. Some of the negative ones are that the pride could be hurt, or we are too proud. It could represent something like arrogance as well. Because I don't want anyone to criticize me, for example. I do not want to admit that I made a mistake. Or we can get obsessed for receiving recognition from someone because I'm itchy to be in the center of attention. And then I get kind of upset when I don't receive what I think I deserve. So this is about receiving praises, receiving gifts. Do not forget that it's my birthday, for example, because I am going to be somehow, upset. Also, this could be about inflated ego or just pushing others aside to be able to be in the spotlight as well. So, just to give you a little bit of, the best tips and hints how to use Vesta here, it would be about practicing kindness and generosity, acknowledging others that they might be on a different wavelength from us and so forth. Deal with criticism because we cannot be everyone's cup of tea, and probably be able to share the stage with others. Remember, Vesta, we are talking about six of them, six ladies, right? And therefore, by the way, they were not only the keepers of the flame, but they were also about um, holding or looking after very important like documents as well. That's also something they did. Also, I would say that with Vesta here, your sexual desire could increase quite significantly. Of course, in the world, this could talk to us about making bold moves, for example, when it comes to um, entertainment industry or investments. Maybe the focus is going to be on the entertainment industry. We will see. And it's very possible that we are just going to be a lot more focused on the collective level, the ability to be the best version of ourselves. So, guys, briefly, I just wanted to give you a bit of a heads up about what displacement is all about. And then if you would like to know how it plays out for the 12 signs, then I will be giving you a short breakdown. See you soon. Bye bye.